Kaulig Racing will run a limited cup schedule in 2021, and John Hunter Nemechek is going to Kyle Busch Motorsports in the 2021 Truck Series season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. We got a few NASCAR stories to discuss here today. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first thing we're going to talk about in this episode is we're going to talk about McDonald's, as McDonald's expected to return to Chip Ganassi Racing next season, but it may also sponsor the new 23XI racing team per sources. Bubba has a pre-existing relationship with the QSR, and Michael Jordan famously used to endorse the brand. Now, no surprise there. I expected in the return to Chip Ganassi Racing. No, there was a running possibility after the Kyle Larson stuff went down that they were going to leave Chip Ganassi Racing. Well, that is not true. And they will be returning most likely to Chip Ganassi Racing as a major sponsor for Ross Chastain in 2021, though I do expect Ross Chastain to bring some sponsorship over that team, though he doesn't have a lot. He does have a few, and he'll probably bring some over as well. Now, on the 23XI racing team, I don't expect them to sponsor them too much. I do think a few races, because I think Bubba Wallace next year is going to have a lot of sponsors coming with him in 2021. I think possibly maybe 10 or 12 sponsors could end up sponsoring Bubba Wallace next year. Some of them, that were Rich Penny Motorsports would come over with him, and there have been more sponsors that we probably don't even know about that might be sponsoring Bubba Wallace in 2021. But this also confirms that they will not be sponsoring Eric Jones in 2021, which is one less sponsor that Eric Jones really has for next year. But really cool that McDonald's is coming back, and great to see that they will be continuing their sponsorship in NASCAR in 2021. And now we're going to get on to the next story. We're going to talk about Infield Access. Yes, you heard that right. According to Adam Stern, NASCAR met with top team executives last week to start hashing out what Infield Access will look like in 2021 per sources. Among other things, NASCAR is considering creating different types of hospitality experiences for sponsors that will involve going into the infield. Yeah, the thing about Infield Access is NASCAR is trying to bring fans back into NASCAR and trying to bring fans back to the racetrack in some sort of capacity. Now, with the possibility of them having fans inside the infield getting like those pop passes and those cold passes as well, I do expect that to be very, very limited from the start. I think Daytona, they're going to try to get full capacity at Daytona, and they're going to try to get infield access for that as well. I expect Homestead, they're going to try to get full capacity for that as well, since Florida currently is fully open at the moment, and they're not planning on going back to what they used to do before they reopened the state in a really good way. So that's good to hear that they're going to try to get fans back in the stands. I really think fans need to come back. I've been really wanting them to come back in some sort of capacity. Hopefully next year we will see infield access, everything go back to normal. I know NASCAR wants to get everything back open and normal, but you also have to realize that COVID-19 is still a major, major thing in this country at the moment. Hopefully by this time when we go racing next year, hopefully COVID will be starting to slow down a little bit, and we can hopefully get back to normal as a country, and hopefully NASCAR can get back to normal, and we can get back to normal as a sport in 2021. And now we're going to get on to the next story for this episode. This was announced Sunday as well. Kaulig Racing is going to be running a limited schedule in 2021, intending to run all the super speedway races and road courses races. They are also still considering a 2022 move to the Cup Series. Kaulig Racing has been really wanting and really pushing to want to make a Cup Series team. They have made Cup starts in the past in the 2020 Daytona 500. As I've mentioned, they are intending to run all the road course races and all the super speedway races in 2021. I think it's really smart for them to at least make a limited schedule start this year, run like 10 to 12 races, get a little bit of experience for moving up the Cup, because I think it would not be a smart thing for them just to jump straight up to the Cup Series. Yes, they do have one star, like I mentioned, Daytona 500 from 2020, but I think it is really smart for them to get a little more experience as an organization, as a team, and get that experience and become a better organization. And again, Kaulig Racing, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated teams in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They've been rising, and they actually made their first Final Four appearance this year, and they have been wanting to make a Cup team. But the one thing that will also hold them back is about the charters. Now, there is a rumbling going around at the 51 team, which is a Rick Ware racing car. That organization currently at the moment has been the slowest team, has been the lowest in points for 3 consecutive years. So they could, technically, at the end of this upcoming season, they could end up losing their charter, and it could go to Kaulig Racing. But really the only way Kaulig Racing could move up the Cup and have a really good opportunity, going full-time I should say, have a really good opportunity to be a competitive organization is you're going to have a chart. Now the next-gen car is supposed to help that, but if they're really going to want to get their grounds running and their feet running as well, they're going to need to have a charter to really help them. And it's really right now with some teams like 23XI Racing wanting to expand in X in 2022 and Kaulig Racing want to jump in, it's going to be really tough and teams are probably going to have to shut down to let them run it. That being said, Kaulig Racing does have two options for next year. They could end up running, the first option they could end up doing is they could end up having Justin Haley and AJ Allmendinger drive some of the races. Justin Haley running the super speedway races and AJ Allmendinger running the road courses races, which I think they should do. Or they could end up using Justin Haley to run all 10 races next season, since I believe Justin Haley and them are intending, if they are to move up the Cup, that's when Justin Haley will make the full-time jump and he will jump up with Kaulig Racing as well. They also, if they are to move up the Cup, they would like to work with Richard Childress Racing as well, so they do have a technical alliance with Richard Childress Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It wouldn't shock me that they would be working with RCR in 2022 as a technical alliance with them in 2022. Or like I said, I think the first option is good, though I do think Justin Haley is a pretty decent road course racer. He's generally ran up front in the road course races as well. I know AJ Allmendinger has run really good in those as well, but Justin Haley would be a solid candidate to run all the races. But I think if I'm Kaulig Racing, you go with the first option, run Justin Haley in the super speedway races, and if AJ Allmendinger is assigned full-time in the Xfinity Series, run him in your road course races as well. I think Kaulig Racing would get some really strong runs next year. Again, their goal, just complete laps, gain experience as an organization, and hopefully in the future, they can full-time in 2022 become a Cup Series team, and they can become a very competitive team as time goes on in the Cup Series. I think that in the future, they could win Xfinity Series championship. They've been getting better every year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And I think they will struggle. Like I said, I think from the get-go, they're going to have a little bit of a hard time, at the start. But as time goes on in the Cup Series, when they go full-time, they will become a better organization and become a better team in 2022. Now we get on to the final story of this episode. John Hunter Nemechek will be driving full-time for Busch Motorsports in the NASCAR Truck Series in 2021, driving the number 4 car full-time in 2021. Sponsors, crew chief, and all that stuff has not been announced for him in 2021, though I do expect that to be coming out really, really, really soon. Ever since John Hunter left Front Row Motorsports, there have been rumors and rumblings that he would be dropping from the NASCAR Cup Series, where he drove for Front Row Motorsports in 2020. There have been rumors that he would be dropping full-time to the Truck Series to drive for Busch Motorsports in 2021. And in my honest opinion, I really like the decision. Yes, you do want to be in the Cup Series full-time and you want to gain experience in the Cup Series. Though, I think John Hunter Nemechek does have enough experience in the NASCAR Truck Series. I mean, he's won a lot of races there. And the crazy thing is, even though he's a veteran, he's only 23 years old. So even though, like I said, he's been in NASCAR for a long time, John Hunter Nemechek does have a lot of truck experience, and I think John Hunter Nemechek going over to Busch Motorsports full-time next year, I think is going to be a very, very fantastic move, and I think that this is really going to show if it's the drivers that are driving for Busch Motorsports or if it's just John Hunter Nemechek being a really awesome driver and it's just, the drivers, or if it's just the cars in general. 'Cause I know that Busch Motorsports has not been as good of an organization as they used to be. They haven't been like a top-tier team. But I think that John Hunter Nemechek will give this team back up and running again. He does have a lot of experience. I mean, Kyle Busch is only running 5 races. He's only allowed to run 5 races next year. And they were looking for like a veteran driver who could run full-time to drive the 4 car. Someone who's really, really good that can take over this car. So I think that this is a really, really good decision. I've been a huge fan of John Hunter Nemechek myself. I think John Hunter Nemechek is one of the most talented NASCAR drivers out there. I mean, at times this year, driving for Front Row Motorsports, he was contending for top 15s and top 20s, and even scored a couple top 10s this year in 2020 with that organization. It looked like he was going to be a top 20 driver, though he did wreck a lot in the Cup Series, but it was because he was overdriving the cars and trying to get the best out of the equipment, similar to what Kyle Larson did at Chip Ganassi Racing and what Ross Chastain did sometimes in the Cup Series, in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and Truck Series as well. I think, like I said, it's a really good move for John Hunter. I think that he will be a championship contender for sure. I think that he definitely has a really good shot of winning a championship. I think he'll be the best driver they've had at that organization since Noah Gragson drove for them in 2017, 2018. No offense to guys like Chandler Smith or Rafael Lessard or Kirk Shanekis. I do like those guys a lot, but I think John Hunter Nemechek coming over there, that can be a leader for one of those younger drivers, because this guy, John Nemechek, has a lot of experience in the truck series, and I think he can bring a lot of that experience over to them. So I'm really happy about this. Great to see that John Nemechek is going to be going over to Kyle Busch Motorsports in 2021. With John Nemechek going over to the 4-car in the NASCAR Truck Series, Rafael Lessard is not going to be returning to Kyle Busch Motorsports in 2021, though he is likely going to be remaining in the NASCAR Truck Series in 2021. I do believe that he does have a little bit of funding, so he could bring that funding maybe over to a team like Tory Racing, maybe bring it over to DJR Crossley. I know that DJR Crossley, they want to run 4 cars next year, maybe 2 full-time and 2 part-times. I don't know what's going on with Tanner Gray. We know that Haley Deegan's going to be driving for DJR Crossley. We don't really know what's going on with Tanner Gray next year. Maybe he could go over there. I really don't know. Maybe he goes to Nice Motorsports. I really don't know. But I think that he will end up at an organization in 2021. But really good to see that John Nemechek's going back over there. And it sucks to Rafael Lessard. And also, I do expect either Christian Eckes or Chandler Swift or both drivers to be racing full-time in 2021 in KBM as well. I think that if you get rid of one of those two, you're really making a major mistake. I think that Chandler Swift is a very, very talented driver. I know he didn't have the best year, but I think because of COVID-19, he wasn't as good. He didn't get as much practice or qualifying opportunities to become a better driver in the NASCAR Truck Series. Christian Eckes had some pretty good highlights. I mean, he made the playoffs this year and made KBM get their first playoff spot since 2018 when Noah Gragson was on the team. So I can't really say that Christian Eckes sucks or Chandler Smith sucks. I think both those guys are really good. And I think if you get rid of one of those drivers, you're making a major, major mistake. And I think both those guys are definitely ready to go full-time in the Truck Series. And now with John Nemechek going to run for Kyle Busch Motorsports in 2021, there's also another rumbling that has been talked about as well. With John Nemechek, there have been rumblings about 23XI Racing. Apparently, they in the future would like to expand to a 2 or 3 car operation. What's one driver right now that just signed with KBM? John Nemechek. There is a possibility that John Nemechek, who is now part of the Toyota stable, that he could end up, in theory, going to 23XI Racing. He does have some sponsorship. Remember, he does have Fire Alarm Studios, and they've already won expand. Even though, like I said, 23XI Racing has not even taken the green flag at Daytona yet, they already do want to expand in 2022. That being said, charters could become a major issue, and we still have to worry about the charter system. You think I talked about that with Kaulig Racing as well. You're going to have to worry about those charters as well. But I think that John Nemechek could become, in the future in 2022, there's not thrown out a possibility that he could become the second driver at 23XI Racing. And I think it'd be a really good move for Denny Hamlin's team. I think that Bubba Wallace would have a really good teammate as well in the future. And I think John Nemechek could bring a lot of good things for Kyle Busch, not just for Kyle Busch Motorsports, but if he is to go to 23XI Racing in the future, I think he would bring a lot to the table for that organization. And now we have to talk a little bit about silly season as well, because with John Nemechek going to Kyle Busch Motorsports next year, I think it's pretty much no ifs and buts about it. I think Ty Dillon and Corey LaJoie are going to end up driving. Both those guys are going to end up driving for Spire. Now, I really thought John Hunter was going to stay in the Cup Series and maybe go to Spire next year. But with John Hunter Nemechek going to Kyle Busch Motorsports next year, I think there is a really good possibility that Ty Dillon and Corey LaJoie will probably end up being the 2 drivers at Spire Motorsports. But there's also a possibility that Corey LaJoie maybe could go to front row there. There is a possibility also that Todd Gillen may go up there since he does drive front row motorsports in NASCAR Truck Series. He might go up to Cup, even though I don't think he's ready. I think he needs to run Xfinity. Though Todd Gillen does have a lot of talent and capabilities, I don't think Todd Gillen will be ready for the big show. So it also could end up going to Kaz Grala, the 38 team I'm talking about. They also could end up going to Kaz Grala. I think Kaz Grala does have I don't remember if he has a lot of funding or not. I think one of his sponsors left, though he has had contact with Peak Antifreeze, and maybe they could sponsor him as well, maybe take it over to Front Row Motorsports, which if they picked up Kaz Grala, I think that would be a really good decision for them. So anyway, that is going to be it for today's NASCAR news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, turn notifications so you be notified when a video does go live on my channel. What do you think about John Nemechek going to Kyle Busch Motorsports in 2021? Do you think it's a good decision for him to drop from the Cup Series to the Truck Series or not? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think about Kaulig Racing running a limited Cup Series schedule in 2021? Do you think that they're making the right decision to make some Cup starts in 2021 or not? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like it so YouTube can recommend these great videos out to you guys. If you do that, I really appreciate it. Like I said, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Link description below for that. And like I said, comment your thoughts below on today's video. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.